Welcome back to Standing Strong for Marriages, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping people walk through marriage, separation, or divorce using Christian principles. Hey, today I'm going to try to bring a resource that I think has something to offer us, whether we're in the midst of a marriage crisis or if we're in kind of the divorce recovery stage of things. It's the resources that have been brought to us by Joyce Meyer and Joyce Meyer Ministries. I'm guessing maybe you've never heard of her, but for many of you, it's probably hard to have missed her. She definitely has some critics out there, but I also think that she has some really great things to offer us. And so, for example, the first one, when it comes to Christianity, this has been my observation, that guys are kind of over here, and we have our resources, we have our preachers, we have our YouTube channels, our blogs, our things that we like. And women in the same way, over here, they have their own separate group of kind of resources, of preachers, of teachers, of resources that they kind of go to and they like and that are very influential. For example, Beth Moore. I've never done a Beth Moore Bible study. I know she has huge influence. I know so many women love her. Joyce Meyer is, I think, in the same category. She has huge scope, international. If you go to their website, they're doing stuff, book stuff, conference stuff. They're doing stuff with the poor, with traffic victims. They're doing water resources. They're doing all kinds of stuff all over the globe. They're putting on multiple free conferences. In the States all year long, I know. Europe as well. I don't know where else they go. But they're doing stuff in a ton of different languages. Joyce has published a ton of books, and those have been translated into it's got to be 50 or 60 languages according to their website. They've just got a lot going on. She's all over YouTube. And so one of the things I think is that's a good thing to know. What's going on with women and what are influencing Christian women. I think that's helpful. So that's especially for the guys. The other thing is that because of her story, if you don't know her story, her father came home from war. He became sexually abusive, and so Joyce was abused for many years by her mother and father, and I say her mother as well because her mom knew what was going on and didn't protect her daughter. I don't know why, and I think Joyce will even say that it was harder for her to forgive her mother than it was her father, even though, it was very devastating. Joyce's brother died a homeless man, an addict. And Joyce, she was a mess, She was a product of her home life, and she got married early. She got divorced early. She was a single mom. She was just bitter, and she will talk about it. One bright side to her story is she got married to a guy named Dave, who was a Christian man. And one thing I really appreciate about Dave is that we don't hear a lot from him, but it's pretty clear to me that he was able to not get sucked into all her baggage, but he also didn't check out of the relationship physically or emotionally. At one point he came to her and he said, look, if things don't change, he says, I might be done here. But they didn't get divorced. They figured it out. And I think one thing that Joyce is really cool about is that she really wanted to change. She really wanted to become better, but she didn't know how to. She went to church, she heard the gospel, she got saved, she knew that God loved her, she knew that there was forgiveness for sins, she knew that maybe something about the Holy Spirit, but she lacked all the resources, she would say, as far as how to confront her past, how to defeat the lies that she was believing about herself, about God, about other people, about men, about her husband Dave. She just didn't know how to recover emotionally. She didn't know how to stabilize herself. And it just took her years and years and years. Now, so many people have found this inspirational. Joyce is very relatable. She, one of her best-selling books was Battlefield of the Minds. And if you're going to check out a book by her or a YouTube series, I would start there. I read the Devotional. It's very good. And I think that she says that this is what I think she has to offer us. She's very good at teaching people how to recognize what's going on inside themselves emotionally and mentally, and how to hang on tight with the scriptures. So she's very good at standing on the promises of God and defeating the lies with the truths that she's found in the scriptures. she's not seminary trained. You know, she doesn't know Greek. She doesn't know Hebrew. She never went to seminary. She doesn't hold an MDiv. And this Master's of Divinity. She doesn't hold a doctorate of ministry. That's not who she is, you know. And I think some of her critics, and probably rightly, will say, well, we don't like Joyce Meyer because either they don't like her because, you know, she's a woman and they don't think women should preach, or, you know, she doesn't nail it all the time on the systematic theology, on the translation stuff. And I think that's a fair criticism. I don't have a problem with that. I still feel like she's a worthwhile resource because we can go, and we should. You know, maybe we shouldn't go to Joyce Meyer for, you know, our very most technical theological teaching. I don't think she doesn't claim to be that type of person or that kind of teacher. So, but what she is really good is at this kind of like internal stuff, and I think she's maybe as good as anybody I've seen on that level. So take warning from her critics. You can find the Bible Answer Man. You can find other people that don't like, you know, certain things that she says, maybe when she's teaching live. And look, teaching live is difficult, right? It's like going to be hard to nail every word perfectly theologically, even if you prepare well. So I think, I'm fine with those criticisms of her. That doesn't bother me. Depending upon where you fall on the, you know, marriage permanence stuff, you may not, you know, you may feel like, well, she's not a good influence because she got remarried while her first husband was still alive. I think that's something maybe fair as well to talk about and to think about. But nevertheless, I think at the end of the day, if you're struggling emotionally, and I know that, everyone struggles emotionally if you just get like blown out of the water by divorce. And look, I know the divorce rates in the States, in Canada, in a lot of other countries. I know Russia, it's even high in Jordan. So don't think that just because, you know, people are living in like kind of very religious societies that the divorce rates aren't high. It's not always true, you know. And so it doesn't matter who you are, what your faith background is. These things mess you up. God says it's a violence that we go through when divorce occurs. And so that's why I just think she's a great resource. You know, I think that she has something to teach. And she figured it out eventually. It took her like a long time. But so many people find her story compelling and encouraging, and it's relatable. A lot of us, we have maybe we didn't get molested by our parents, but it's still these things in life that are hard to grapple with internally. So that's why I think she's great. You guys can check her out. Hey, as far as this channel, if you have recommendations of things you'd like me to cover, or comments, of course, drop them, let me know. Please share this stuff with people that you know that are going through divorce, marriage separation, marriage crisis, and I guess that's it. Thanks so much for checking us out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.